The sun almost ended modern civilization. Nothing looked unusual that morning. Lights came on, airliners crossed continents, satellites guided ships, and smartphones with quiet precision. Above it all, the sun looked exactly as it had the day before. Familiar, predictable, safe. Yet somewhere beyond Earth's view, something extraordinary had already happened. Modern civilization depends on thousands of invisible systems. Electricity flows across continents through high-voltage transmission lines. Satellites keep time, guide navigation, and connect communications. Most people never think about those networks because they almost never fail together. It is easy to believe they are protected simply because they keep working. That confidence hides a deeper reality. Everything those systems rely on ultimately exists beneath the influence of a single star. The possibility sounds distant until the evidence appears. Far from Earth, a NASA spacecraft positioned to observe the sun from another angle suddenly encountered something no person on Earth could see. Its instruments registered an abrupt wall of charged particles racing through space. The readings climbed so rapidly that some sensors briefly struggled to capture the full intensity of the event. Earth remained perfectly calm. No cities lost power. No satellites tumbled from orbit. No headlines warned of disaster. For everyone living below, nothing had happened. But the spacecraft had recorded something undeniable. Researchers later examined the incoming telemetry. The numbers revealed an immense cloud of magnetized plasma, known as a coronal mass ejection, moving through space at more than 2,000 kilometers every second. It crossed the distance from the Sun to Earth's orbit in less than a day. A journey that normally takes several days had become dramatically faster. The event was invisible to human eyes. Its reality existed inside measurements. That changed the investigation. The question was no longer whether an extreme solar storm had occurred. The question became how extreme it truly was. The spacecraft's magnetic instruments delivered the next surprise. The storm carried an unusually powerful magnetic field, aligned in the direction that space weather researchers fear most. With that orientation, the danger was not only the speed of the storm, but the way its magnetic force could interact with a planet directly in its path. This was not an ordinary burst from the sun. Researchers compared the measurements with the benchmark every space weather scientist knows: the Great Solar Storm of 1859, often called the Carrington event. The comparison was deeply uncomfortable. The evidence suggested the modern storm belonged in the same class. That realization transformed the meaning of the spacecraft's data. What first looked like an impressive scientific observation now resembled the record of a disaster that simply had no victims. Yet one question refused to disappear. If the storm was that powerful, why did civilization never notice? The answer was not hidden inside the sun. It was hidden inside civilization itself. Most electrical systems recover from routine disturbances. Lightning strikes, equipment failures, storm damage. Those are problems engineers expect. A severe solar superstorm creates a different threat. As Earth's magnetic field shifts rapidly, electrical currents can be driven into the longest transmission lines on the planet. Those currents flow into extra-high voltage transformers, massive machines that quietly regulate power across entire regions. From the outside, they appear ordinary. Inside, they represent one of civilization's least visible bottlenecks. If enough current enters them, their internal components can overheat and fail. Replacing them is not like swapping household equipment. Many are custom-built, weigh hundreds of tons, and can require more than a year to manufacture and deliver. The danger was never just losing electricity for a night. It was losing the equipment required to restore it. power supports water treatment, refrigeration, communications, transportation, food distribution. The farther investigators followed the chain of consequences, the smaller modern civilization's margin of safety appeared. Still, one mystery remained. None of it had happened. The transformers survived. The satellites survived. The power grids kept running. Why? Researchers reconstructed the storm's path through the solar system. They traced the expanding cloud across the orbit of Earth. Then they compared that path with Earth's position. The contradiction finally became visible. The storm crossed the exact place where Earth had been only 9 days earlier. Our planet was no longer there. Nothing diverted the eruption. No emergency system intercepted it. No hidden shield protected civilization. Earth had simply continued moving along its ordinary orbit. The spacecraft happened to occupy the path that Earth had recently left behind. It became the silent witness that measured the event humanity never experienced directly. The difference between normal life and a global technological crisis was measured in days. Nothing more. Look back at the sun now. It appears unchanged. The same familiar light rises over cities. The same star powers every ordinary morning. Only one thing is different: our understanding. The evidence shows that modern civilization did not demonstrate its resilience during that event. It demonstrated its dependence on timing. Extreme solar eruptions remain part of the sun's natural behavior. The processes that produced that storm did not end in 2012. The ordinary appearance of the sun tells us nothing about whether another powerful eruption will occur. It never has. The spacecraft's measurements remain as a permanent record of an invisible disaster that passed through Earth's orbital path. Modern civilization continued uninterrupted. Not because the threat was small, because the planet was somewhere else.